Welcome to the Python object-oriented programming tutorial. So in last set of tutorials, we discussed about the Python programming basics, and thereafter we move on to Python modules. And now the new topic, this comes under Python fundamentals. So we'll start the object-oriented programming in Python, and then we will cover the concepts of OOP, and let's see how we can implement classes, objects, and codes related to object-oriented programming. Now, before going on to object-oriented programming in Python, I want to talk about what's OOP, object-oriented programming, right? So OOP is a very common concept that we are going to find in programming, right? So most of the programming language supports object-oriented programming concepts. For example, C++, Java. So they are having OOP, right? So OOP concepts are there. But there are some programs that they don't support object-oriented programming like C. So if you take C programming language, there's no any OOP part, right? So C and if you take C and Python, quite similar. I mean, it supports both sequential programming as well as object-oriented programming, right? So what I mean by sequential programming, what we did under Python programming basics, right? So without creating any class or objects, we can just code in the main function. So that's what you call the sequential programming. But C++ also the same, quite the same. So you have the both sequential and the object-oriented programming concepts there. But if you take a programming language like Java, Java only supports object-oriented programming. So if you want to write something, a simple code, for even that you have to create a class and do that. So OOP, I mean, when it comes to Java, Java is a fully OOP language, but Python and C++, if you take, quite similar, they are both support sequential programming as well as object-oriented programming. Now, object-oriented programming is a very powerful concept that you are going to find under programming, right? Programming languages. And in OOP, the OOP concepts and the implementations are a bit different when in Python when it compared with C++ or Java, right? So Python had some different implementations, but if you take C++ and Java, so it's quite similar. I mean, in the implementations, but Python is a bit different and it has its own and unique implementations in code. So we will discuss about these things, right? And but actually we have used OOP before. We can remember that we discussed about modules. So the external modules and the internal modules like Math, NumPy, C++. So all the libraries, so they are based on object-oriented programming, right? So all the modules that we use, actually there are classes and objects. So we without knowing that, we have already used the object-oriented programming in our codes in under modules topic, right? But anyway, we will now get to know about object-oriented programming, I mean classes and objects, and then see how we can implement codes in Python related to object-oriented programming. When it comes to object-oriented programming, or we say OOP, we have to understand two main things. So if you can correctly understand, or if you can clearly understand and differentiate in between these two, then you can understand the most of the object-oriented programming concepts, right? So we have two things when it comes to OOP, the classes and objects, right? So before going on to programming concepts, let me explain it by a real world example, right? So when you have a house, right, the plan of that house, or we say the blueprint of that house, is like a class, right? Actually, it's physically nothing. Why I mean like physically nothing, it's just a plan, right? So we can't live there in that plan, right? So it's a piece of paper, right? It's kind of a physically nothing, just a paper, right? But it's not a real house, right? But if you build a house by referring to that plan, okay, so as I discussed earlier, class is kind of a blueprint. Now, when it comes to object is like a house that create or build referring to that plan or the blueprint, right? So now when it comes to object, yes, object is a physical thing, right? But the thing is now, object is created using the class. That means whatever the rooms, whatever the material, whatever the windows, I mean, the doors and everything, was there in the plan will be there physically in the object, right? So, I mean, by referring to a one blueprint or a one class, we can create many objects, right? Many objects. So let's take a housing scheme. So housing scheme, all the houses are similar, right? So that means that they were built up using one plan or one blueprint. So similar, if you have a class, right? Using that class, we can create many objects. So whatever the things included in that class, right? In that plan will be there physically in that, I mean, the objects that we are going to create from that class, right? So that's simply how we can identify classes and objects, right? So simply, when you take a class, right, in programming, in the most of the programming languages, this is something common. We have two main things inside a class, and altogether these two are called members of the class. And we have two main categories, like data members, or we can identify them as variables. Then the other thing is methods, or we call them as member functions or functions, right? So simply, I mean, data members are variables, methods are functions. But the thing is, we don't refer it when it comes to a class. Inside the class, we refer variables as data members, and we refer functions as methods inside the class. And when it comes to data members, we have three main types of data members called class variables, instant variables, and local variables. When it comes to methods, we have two main types of methods, like class methods and constructor. So we have a very simple class called rectangle, and I will show you what are the data members and what are the methods and what are the class variables, instance variables, local variables, and when you consider methods, what are the class methods and constructors, right? Okay, so simply we have the rectangle class. I'm going to create a class called rectangle. So this represents several things in a rectangle, right? So this is how we are going to create a class in Python programming language. So you have to start with the class keyword and the class name. So my class that I'm going to implement here is a rectangle, right? So these are simply the, like you know, from the beginners tutorial, the Python basic tutorial, the def keyword, we are going to start with the def keyword, we are going to implement functions, right? So these are functions, but since it's inside a class, they are called, these are called methods, right? And we have several methods, right? So these are called methods. And this is a method, but it's a special type of a method. This is called a constructor. So how we are going to identify a constructor? There will be only one constructor in a class, only one constructor, and it will be declared with two underscores in it and another two underscores, right? So that's something fixed, right? So you can't change it. So this is how we are going to create a constructor, and there will be only one constructor for a class. So we will see what is a constructor and what the constructor simply does later. But I want to show you the overview of a general class in Python, right? And these are other functions. You can have any name, right, for the functions, and these are simply functions. And whatever the variables outside of any function, they are called class variables. So now this count is a class variable. Now, don't need to understand what happens inside this rectangular class. I will explain that later, but I want to show you only the overview, right? Okay, so then you know what are methods and what are constructors, how, I mean, it's defined inside the class. And whatever the variables declared outside the functions inside the class, they are called class variables. And whatever the variables inside functions or methods, and with like self dot, declared with self dot and used with self dot, so they are called instant variables of the class. And whatever the variables without declared without the self dot, then the self operator, they are called local variables, right? I hope you understood, right? So those are the three types of variables available, right? And for example, I have given everything here, right? data members, count, one side length. So those are, count is a local class variable and one side length is a local variable. And since width, height, area, perimeter, so they are declared like self dot, they are called instant variables. And inside methods, we have the constructor underscore underscore init underscore underscore, then it's a constructor, that's a construct of this class. And the other methods or other functions inside the class are called methods, right? So now this is a class. So that means this is the blueprint that I was talking about, right? So this is physically nothing, kind of a plan or a blueprint, right? But from this class, we can create objects like this, right? So rectangle, parentheses, and I'm going to equal it to the rectangle one. So now what happens here, right? Now what happens here? Here, this is simply creating an object from the rectangle class. So you can create any number of rectangles you like using any name, right? I mean, it not necessarily be rect 1, 2, 3. You can, I mean, you can declare it as anything more you like, right? So what I just did was here was creating 3 objects from the class, right? So I have run it first, right? Okay, so this is simply how you can define objects from a class, right? And here now you know that the class, if you take a class, it has data members and methods. The most important thing when it comes to a class is that now here we have created an object, right? So when you create an object from a class, that means that physical objects are created from that class, right? So for example, now earlier I told that when you are going to build up a house by referring to a plan, right? So whatever the things included inside that plan will be there in the objects as well physically, right? For example, now one room, if you have some kind of room is there, that room will be there in the house, right? The physically created object. So here also now our rectangle class has data members, count, one side length, a local variable, and width, height, area, perimeter, instance variables, and it has a constructor, right? So that means we have included some data members, I mean the variables and some kind of functions, constructors, and everything inside a rectangle class. So what will happen when you are going to create object from this class? Those individual objects you can create, as you know, you can create many objects. So each individual object, right? So they will contain each and every data member and each and every methods inside that object. Understood? So whatever the data members, methods declared in a class, right? From that class, if we are going to create an object, that object will contain all the data members, methods, and everything that was included in the class, right? So each method has, each class, each object, if you got each object has its own set of data members and methods, right? Each object has its own copies of data members and methods, right? For example, now this, if you create a rectangle 1, this rectangle 1 itself, it has accounts, one side length, width, height, area, perimeter, and these methods. And the rectangle 2 also, it has these things, and R1 also, these things has these things, right? For example, now here we are going to create a rectangle object called rect2, right? So what I can do now, you know that there is a height and width, since this is an object created from that class. Since in the class we have height and width, in the object also it has its own copy, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to access those data members. So keep that thing in your mind. From the main function or from the main code, you can only access the instant variables. You can access only the instance variables directly, right? Other variables like local variables or class variables also can be, but instant variables can be directly accessed through the outside of the class, right? So we are in the outside of the class. So we create a rectangle 2 object. And now I'm going to do what? this rectangle 2, it has a height and it has a width. So I'm going to set 10 and 20 to the height and width of rectangle 2 object, right? Then I'm going to call the print details. Now you know that there is a print details in the class. So that means each object you are going to create from the rectangle class will also contain this print details method, right? So rectangle 2 also has a print details method. So what you are going to do, if you want to call the the print details method of the rectangle 2 object, so you are going to call it like rectangle 2 dot, right? I told you that earlier, like each object has its own data members and methods that was declared in the class. So if you want to call like the members of rectangle 2, the data members and the member functions, you have to always call it by rectangle 2 dot height, rectangle 2 dot width, rectangle 2 dot print details likewise. Understood? So now what I'm going to do, okay, so I'm going to set the height and the width of the rectangle 2 object to 10 and 20, right? Then thereafter, I'm going to call the print details method. So print details, simply what it does, it prints the width, height, area, perimeter, count, and everything, right? So I will discuss about this count later, but you can see that I have printed these 4. And if you run this thing, you will see those values, right? So we just set these things up, right? Okay, now what happens? Another example, we have created a rectangle object called rect3, and I'm setting up the height of the rectangle 3 to 10 and the height of the rectangle 3 to 20, right? Then I call the rectangle 3 find area. So what happens simply, if you go to the class declaration, so this is called the class definition actually. If you go to the class definition, what happens, the area, the self.area, the class, the instant variable area equals self.width into self.height, right? So I will discuss about what this self in a minute, but just understand, okay, the area equals simply width into height, right? So we are going to make the area equal width into height. Similarly, the cal perimeter finds the perimeter, find perimeter, and it one side length, it's going to create a local variable. No, now self dot is not there, so this is a local variable. One side length equal self dot height plus self dot width. So that's kind of the one side length we can say, then the perimeter will be twice of that. Right? Total perimeter will be twice of that. Then you are going to calculate the area and the perimeter. So once you call the print details method of the rectangle 3, you are going to see the these things, right? Understood? You are going to see the output like this. So the perimeter and the area calculated. Now, what do you mean by the self dot? So self dot, if you are going to have a variable inside the class called self dot, so that's called a instant variable. So what do you mean by instant variable? These instance variables that you are going to declare, right? So these can be accessed inside all the methods. Understood? Now, self dot width, self dot height, self dot area. So these are declared in this constructor. We will discuss about the constructor later, right? I will discuss about the constructor in detail in the next video. But here, what I want to highlight, actually the constructor will be called when you are going to create a new object. So when you are going to create a new object, always this constructor will be called. Now that means what happens, these variables will be initialized. These instance variables will be initialized to 0, right? And now later, when the find area is called, what happens, right? Now that width will be multiplied with that height and create the area, right? So perimeter also similar thing. Now when you are going to, finally when you are going to call the print detail, what happens? It prints those weight, height, area, perimeter. So these are instant variables. That means it can be accessed inside any function in the class. So that's the specialty about the instant variables, right? For example, now here we have something called one side length. So simply the addition of height and the width of the rectangle, right? We are going to multiply it by 2 in order to get the perimeter. But for example, now if you try to add this one side length inside this function, so note that this is not self dot one side length. That means it's not instant variable. So if you try to add this, and if I run this now, when I'm going to run it and get the print details function call, you can see there's an error that one side length is not defined here. That means it's a local variable. So as the name suggests, whatever the variable that you are going to create inside the method, but without the self operator, right? So they are called local variables, right? And class variable, something different. It's declared outside of any method. So that's how you are going to identify a class variable. But here, this is a local variable, since whatever the variables that you are going to find inside methods without the self, they are called local variables. So local variables, as the name suggests, so it's local only for this function. So that's available inside only this function. When you are trying to print it here, no, it won't happen, since it's not declared, since it's a local variable to the find millimeter function. But the others, as you can see, like the width, height, area, so they can be accessed inside any method, right? So that's the important thing that you have to understand there, right? So if you now run this, and this will come to the normal thing, right? Okay, so right, so the other thing is, now there is another important thing. This something that we are going to do definitely, I mean, a mandatory thing when it comes to object-oriented programming in Python. When you are going to create a method inside a class, you have to always pass this self parameter into that function. So that's automatic. You have to definitely do it, right? So it gives like a meaning that self contain all the methods, all the instant variables of the class. So when you pass it to a method, what happens? You can access anything, I mean, any method or any instant variable inside that class, inside this method, right? So that's what the meaning of passing self into every function, every method, right? So that's something mandatory. You have to always pass the self as the first parameter of your function or the method, right? Okay. Yeah, so that's it about the basics of object-oriented programming with Python, right? So we will then meet with the topic called constructor in the next video. Thank you very much.